What's up? What's up? It is Chris again, and today we're going to be talking about strategies. So let's get right into it. Let's get right to it. That sounds better. That first one sounded a little weird. Anyways, so the first thing I want to talk about is finding. I think you're going to realize throughout this entire video that the overarching theme is to. I'm going to write it here just so you guys can remember it. Find your own Find your own strategy. And so I don't want you to think that I'm trying to say this in terms of you need to go out and learn everything on your own and not listen to anything we say. No, that's not what I'm saying at all. What I'm saying is that you need to take in everything that we're saying, every little bit, regardless of what analyst is saying it or who is saying it, and you need to decide honestly what type of trader you want to be and what type of trader you can be profitable being. And the reason I say this is because there are people who just are psychologically different, and that is a very large part of trading. And if you don't understand yourself, you don't understand your mind in these situations where you might be freaking out, having a little baby heart attack because Tesla's just dropping or something. Like maybe you enter calls in the morning on Boeing and you're just like, oh shit. And you're just having a little heart attack. That's where having a strategy will fix that. And that's also where, as you grow as a trader, if you do have a good strategy and you have the right plan and you understand exactly what you're entering and what you're risking, you shouldn't be having a heart attack on most trades unless something crazy happens, because you should be properly managing your risk and properly diversifying your positions so that you are okay. You are not losing too much in a day. As my guy at the trading fraternity always says, check the cash balance. You need to check the cash balance. So back to what we were saying. The most important part about finding your own strategy and not just taking necessarily what someone else says is because you need to understand it. If you don't understand the strategy that you're putting in, you will lose because you won't know when to exit and you won't know when maybe a good time is to enter. You'll be late. You won't really understand the strategy. I mean, it's like in math class, if somebody gave you all the answers to the test, but like you had to show your work. Okay, so this little analogy here is not great, but say you had to show your work because trading's hard. So we'll say you have to show your work in trading by doing your analysis, yada yada yada. If someone just gave you the answers, you'd fail the shit out of that test because you don't actually know how to do anything. So if you come in here and we just tell you exactly what we do, it's not going to make any sense. And even if you try to employ it the same way that we do, we can't sit there second by second with you, and you might not be able to see something that we are seeing that our strategy is telling us because you don't even understand it. And that is just a huge thing in trading, is that you just need to really just take all of the advice you're given, especially in the beginning, because you're consistently learning. And the reason I say that is because I think losing equals learning, and you're consistently losing. Yeah, that might suck to like take in right now. You might be sitting there thinking like, what is he saying? But you will consistently lose, and that's a fact. And I don't mean consistently like as in more consistent than the times you profit, but you will go on streaks for however long it may be, but you're going to lose, and you need to learn how to lose right. And that's where coming to find your strategy and figuring out what works for you is super, super important. Because if you don't have a strategy, you don't have an entry, you don't have an exit plan, you're not going to know how to lose. You're going to be pissed you lost because you don't know why you lost. If you don't understand why you're entering a trade, it's going to be much easier to be annoyed about it. And that might not like sink in for you, but think about it. We'll go back to the math test. I don't know why I'm thinking so much about math, but we'll go back to it. If you studied your ass off for a math test and you got a 50, you'd be like, all right, what's good? Like, why did I fail that? I studied. But if you didn't study and you got a 50, you'd be like, okay, yeah, I mean, I didn't study, so I probably should have gotten a 50. It's the same thing in here. Like, if you're not taking the time to put in if you're not putting in the time to learn the things you need to learn to be successful, then it's going to be much easier to be pissed because you don't even understand why you're losing. And you're inevitably going to lose. Like, that is just a fact in trading. You need to be a good loser. If you're going to be a good trader, you need to be an even better loser. So let's get back to the strategy. This is something that's super important. Track your progress. Track your commissions also for whatever brokerage you're using, just to make sure you know exactly how much those are. And also just this all kind of goes back to just track your progress. Some people literally do this and don't even like look at their profit loss. You should know your profit loss on the day, on the week, on the month, on the quarter, and on the year at all times. And why that is because you can see very quickly, okay, I'm having a bad week, or maybe you're having a bad month, or maybe you're having a bad year, or maybe you've never had a good day in your trading career. And that's where you should go do what? You should paper trade. You need to paper trade. If you haven't had a good day trading in your career, you need to paper trade. So let's see what we have next. Strategies don't last forever. They're not always going to work. You need to adapt and learn. That's kind of like what I was saying earlier, is just if you notice something happening a bunch of times, back to what I was saying again, you have to what? Paper trade. Paper trade a strategy like 100 times. I mean, the more times you paper trade it, the more confidence you can have in your strategy, and the more likely the strategy is going to be profitable. So whatever it may be, you need to figure that out, decipher exactly what the strategy is, what it is trying to capitalize on, because there are a couple different things you can capitalize on, like I have here. Breakouts, a change in volume, news and speculation, trend continuation, reversals, yada, 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 the list goes on. Whatever it may be, they all look very different. It's not just all of them are the same, they show the same thing. You can tell from the volume, volatility, and price as your three main inputs to all of these indicators when one of those is going to happen if you have a legitimate strategy that works and that you have tested. One thing I recommend you doing is just pick a couple of stocks and learn the shit out of them. Like, literally, this is what I did when I started. I picked, I think, it was just a bunch of the big movers pretty much, and just learn them in and out, understand the levels, understand how those stocks move, understand how they move in relation to one another, understand how they move with the indices, and that's how you can really get a feel for the market. And then you can start to branch out and go into different sectors and start trying to learn how the sectors work with one another, and you can get into learning rotations in the market, which is a super important thing for long-term trading, and a bunch of other stuff. But that is really how you can learn the market, is just focus, start small, focus on a couple stocks, make a small watch list, and just watch them every day and get to know them. And that's also a good way to make money. You can only trade a couple stocks and make a lot of money doing that in this game. And that's exactly leading into the next point, trade what you know, not what you're told. If you go on YouTube and someone tells you to buy a stock, one, I advise you to never buy it. Yes, it may go up, but you should never listen to someone on YouTube regardless of how good their explanation is. That's why I'm not on here telling you you need to buy Boeing right now. I'm trying to tell you that you need to take this knowledge in, however that may be, because everybody is going to process this differently. Go out in the market and find what works for you. I could make this video and tell you exactly what my strategy is, but that's not what this is, because I know that won't be very helpful, and that will honestly probably lose a lot of you money, because you're not going to understand it unless I fully sit down with you and tell you exactly what I'm doing. So you need to learn, figure out what works, what you like, what you're comfortable with, and then devise a strategy from there. Lastly, just this is what I wanted to finish with, just what the best strategies have. First off, risk management. If you don't have risk management, you are going to lose. If you can't figure out risk management and you have been losing, you should go do what? You should paper trade. Number two, you should look at I say previous data to back it up. It doesn't necessarily have to be data. Just scroll back. Just look. The more charts you can find with whatever strategy it may be and show you it working, then it can give you, again, more confidence in that strategy, and you can understand really what is going on with the trade. Number three, defined entry and exit plan. If you do not have a defined entry and exit plan, you are going to be sitting there watching it, and you're going to be going crazy. If you have, you need to have a defined exit plan. If you can't figure out a stop loss, I can't help you. I'm sorry. It's that plain and simple. If you can't decide to manage your risk by using a stop loss with an option contract that goes to zero most of the time by expiration date, you're going to lose. That's all it is. So you need to understand stop loss. You need to most definitely have a defined exit plan before you enter, and you need to have an entry plan, a reason for that entry. If you stray from this, then it's not a strategy anymore. That is what your strategy is, deciding where you should enter and how you should exit. You can have a little bit different strategies for both of those because you're going to be looking for different things, obviously, but you need to have one for both. Number four is confidence. And like I've said like 10 times in this video, if you don't have confidence, you need to go paper trade. Paper trading is like literally the best thing in the world. It's fake money. You can gain a lot of confidence. This can show you exactly what will work, what won't work. If you are trying to take a risky play, as I've said in previous videos, one, flip the coin, flip it, 50%, whatever it is, heads, you take the play, tails, you don't. And if you can maintain allegiance to the coin, one, this will psychologically help you because you will just be strong enough to listen to a stupid little coin. And I'm telling you this will help because if you think about it, taking 50% of the high risk trades, high risk, higher chance of losing money, you probably won't lose as much, and it will probably be better in the long run for you. And then the last thing I have is just long-term plan. This is a long-term game. I don't care what age you are. This is a long-term game. Well, let's not say that. If you're really old, maybe it's not. But if you're really old, are you really watching this video right now? And I'm talking like really old. No, I don't think so. So long-term plan is probably up there with risk management, the number one important thing. This is a long-term gain. That's also why I say track daily, weekly, monthly, quarterly. If you're having a bad day, you're blowing up, don't freak out. Look at your weekly P&L. Are you still up on the week? That's fine. I've had times where I've lost $500 in a day, but I'm still up 1,000 plus on the week, and that's fine. It really doesn't matter. You just need to understand. You just need to not lose that, and that's where you can see, oh shit, I was up $1,000 on Monday, and now after 2 days, I'm down back to 500. Maybe I should chill. Maybe this isn't week. Maybe this isn't my week. Maybe my strategy isn't working. Whatever it may be, you need to figure these things out. And what I just thought of is something that everybody should do is just journal. I don't want to write journal because I hate when people tell me to journal. Write it down. I know that's like the same thing, but just write it down. Write down what happened with your trades. Write down what you were thinking. If you're thinking about something and you don't enter it, either paper trade it so you can see what happens, or write it down and go back and make sure to look. This is, again, just having that data to back it up. The more experience and the more times you see whatever it is work, the more confident you can be in your strategy and the better it will be. Aside from that, as always, please like and subscribe. It really helps with the YouTube algorithm. And we are really trying to help you guys with putting out whatever content we can, no matter what it is, no matter how advanced or how basic we can do it. Just write it in the comments below. Please smash that like button. As always, I hope it always stays green. I hope everybody stays green, and I hope you have a good one.